The package felt wrong in Danny Martinez's hands. Not heavy, not light, just wrong. He had delivered books to apartment 7B every single day for 3 months, and today something had changed. The woman who answered the door looked the same. Long dark hair, pale skin, those strange violet eyes she claimed were contacts. But the air around her shimmered like heat rising from summer pavement. "You're bleeding," Danny said, stepping back. Lisa Camden glanced at her arm where crimson liquid seeped through her white sleeve. Except it wasn't quite crimson. It was too bright, almost glowing in the dim hallway light. "It's nothing," she said, reaching for the package. Danny pulled it back. "That's not normal blood." Her eyes met his, and for the first time in 3 months, he saw fear there. Real, genuine terror. She grabbed his shirt and yanked him inside, slamming the door behind them. The deadbolt clicked with finality. "You need to forget what you saw," Lisa said, her voice shaking. "What are you?" Danny whispered. The apartment was exactly as he'd imagined it. Books everywhere, stacked on tables, lining every wall, piled in corners. But now he noticed other things. Strange devices he'd mistaken for reading lights, screens showing star charts he didn't recognize, a communication panel that definitely wasn't human technology. "I'm someone who's been hiding," Lisa said. "And you just became a problem." Danny's hand moved to his phone. Lisa was faster. She crossed the room in a blur of motion that shouldn't have been possible, knocking the device from his grip. It shattered against the wall. "I won't hurt you," she said quickly, seeing his panic, "but they will if they find out you know." "Who's they?" "The ones hunting me." Lisa pressed her hand against the wound. The glowing blood was already slowing, healing impossibly fast. "The ones who've been searching Earth for the last 6 months. The ones who destroyed my entire world because we refused to join their empire." Danny's mind raced. Every science fiction book he'd ever read suddenly felt inadequate for this moment. This wasn't fiction. This was real. "Why books?" he asked. "Why do you order so many books?" Lisa smiled sadly. "Because your species writes the only thing mine never could. Hope every story, every ending, where the underdog wins, where humans triumph against impossible odds. We were pacifists, Danny. We never fought back. We just died." An explosion rocked the building. The windows rattled. Lisa's face went white. "They found me," she said, "and now they'll find you too." She grabbed his hand, her skin burning hot against his. "If you want to live, you need to run with me, right now." Danny looked at the door, then at Lisa, then at the books scattered across her floor. Stories of humans who never gave up, who fought when fighting seemed impossible. "Where are we going?" he asked. Lisa's expression shifted from fear to something else. Determination. "To show you why humanity is our last hope." They burst through the fire escape door as the front entrance exploded inward. Danny caught a glimpse of something metallic and massive pushing through the flames. Lisa dragged him down the metal stairs, taking 3 steps at a time. His delivery truck sat in the alley below, looking pathetically ordinary against the chaos erupting above them. "Drive," Lisa commanded, shoving him toward the driver's seat. Danny's hands shook as he started the engine. Behind them, the building's wall crumbled outward. A figure emerged from the debris. 9 feet tall and covered in segmented armor that reflected no light. Its face was hidden behind a helmet that curved into wicked points. "Don't look back," Lisa said. "Just drive." Danny floored the accelerator. The truck lurched forward, tires screaming against wet pavement. In the rear-view mirror, he saw the armored figure leap from the 3rd floor, landing with enough force to crack the concrete. It started running after them with impossible speed. "What is that thing?" Danny shouted over the roar of the engine. "A Kravik hunter." Elite soldiers of the Dominion. Lisa was doing something with a device pulled from her pocket, her fingers dancing across a holographic interface. They're genetically engineered for one purpose: finding refugees like me. The hunter was gaining. Danny took a hard left, nearly tipping the truck. Boxes of packages shifted and crashed in the back. "Why did they destroy your world?" Danny asked, weaving through traffic. "Resources. Strategic position." The usual Imperial excuses. Lisa's device beeped, but mostly because we refused to give them what they really wanted: our translation technology. Translation? My people could communicate with any species, any consciousness. We could talk to stars, to planets, to the fabric of space itself. The Dominion wanted that power. We said no. Her voice cracked. So they killed everyone. Everyone except the few of us who managed to escape. Danny ran a red light. Cars honked and swerved. Behind them, the hunter smashed through vehicles like they were cardboard, never slowing. How many escaped? 12 of us scattered across your galaxy. I'm the only one who made it to Earth. Lisa looked at him, her violet eyes intense. And I chose Earth specifically, Danny. Not by accident. The hunter leaped. For a moment, Danny saw it arc through the air in his mirror, a nightmare made real. It landed on the roof of the truck with a boom that dented the metal. Lisa cursed in a language Danny didn't recognize. "Keep driving," she said, climbing into the back of the truck. Danny heard crashing, tearing metal, Lisa's shouts mixed with an alien roar. The truck swerved as weight shifted violently above him. He gripped the wheel tighter, taking another corner. Something heavy hit the pavement behind them. Lisa climbed back through, bleeding from a cut above her eye. The glowing blood ran down her face like liquid starlight. "That won't stop it for long," she said. "Head for the docks." "The docks? Why?" "Because that's where my ship is hidden." Danny's brain struggled to process the words. "You have a ship? How do you think I got here?" Lisa pressed buttons on her device. It's small, barely functional, but it's got weapons. Real weapons. Enough to deal with one hunter. They raced through the warehouse district. The hunter had recovered, now running alongside them on rooftops, leaping from building to building with predatory grace. Danny could see more details now. The armor wasn't just protective. It was covered in weapon systems, small barrels and energy ports that glowed with ready violence. "Why me?" Danny asked suddenly. "Why tell me any of this?" Lisa was quiet for a moment. "Because you're the first human who noticed something was wrong. 3 months, Danny. 3 months of daily deliveries, and you're the first person who actually looked at me. Really looked." "You ordered books to test us," Danny realized. "To see if anyone was paying attention. To see if humans were as observant as your stories claimed." Lisa pointed ahead. "There, Warehouse 17. Danny crashed through the chain-link fence. The warehouse doors stood open like a dark mouth. He drove inside, and Lisa jumped out before the truck fully stopped. She ran to what looked like a pile of old tarps and shipping containers. "Help me," she called. Danny ran to her side. Together they pulled away the covering. Underneath sat something that made his breath catch. It was beautiful and terrible all at once. Sleek silver metal formed a teardrop shape about the size of a bus. Strange symbols glowed along its surface. The warehouse wall exploded. The hunter stepped through, its armor smoking from the impact. It spoke, and somehow Danny understood the words through the mechanical translation. "Surrender the refugee. You will not be harmed, human." Lisa stepped in front of Danny. "Run!" she told him. "No," Danny said, surprising himself. The hunter's head tilted. Curious. "The human chooses death." Quote, "The human chooses to fight," Danny corrected. Lisa grabbed his arm. "You don't understand what you're saying?" "Yes, I do." Danny looked at her. You came to Earth looking for hope, for humans who fight impossible odds. Well, here I am." The hunter laughed, a sound like grinding metal. "One human and a damaged refugee. This will be brief." Lisa's expression changed. She looked at Danny with something like wonder. Then she smiled fierce and wild. "You want to see what humans can do?" she asked the hunter. "Let me show you what happens when one of my people stops running and starts fighting alongside one of yours." She pressed her hand against the ship. The symbols blazed brighter. Weapons systems hummed to life. "Get inside, Danny," Lisa said. "I'm going to teach you how to fly." The ship's hatch opened with a hiss of pressurized air. Danny scrambled inside, his heart hammering against his ribs. The interior was cramped but functional. 2 seats faced a curved display that showed more information than his brain could process. Lisa dropped into the pilot's seat, and her hands flew across controls that materialized from thin air. The hunter fired. Energy bolts scorched the air where they'd been standing seconds before. The ship's shields flared to life, a translucent dome of blue light that absorbed the impacts. "Strap in," Lisa commanded. Danny fumbled with the harness as the ship lifted off. Through the display, he watched the warehouse floor drop away. The hunter was already climbing using debris and support beams like a ladder, its armor jets firing to boost its ascent. "This is insane," Danny breathed. "This is survival." Lisa's fingers danced across the controls. "Watch and learn." "Put your hands here." Danny placed his hands on a secondary control panel that lit up at his touch. Immediately, information flooded his mind. Not words, not images, but pure understanding. He could feel the ship's systems, sense its weapons, understand its capabilities. "What is this?" he gasped. "My people's technology. It doesn't translate words. It translates meaning directly into your consciousness." Lisa banked hard, avoiding another volley from the hunter. The Dominion wanted this power to control every species in the galaxy. Imagine being able to command anyone, anything, just by thinking at them. The implications terrified Danny. "But you're giving it to me. I'm sharing it. There's a difference." Lisa fired the ship's weapons. Brilliant blue energy lanced out, striking the hunter mid-leap. It crashed down but rolled to its feet, armor smoking but intact. Sharing requires trust. The Dominion doesn't understand trust. The warehouse roof exploded as the ship punched through it. Danny's stomach lurched as they climbed into the night sky. Below, the city spread out like a circuit board of lights. The hunter had stopped firing, but Danny knew it wasn't giving up. "They'll send more," Lisa said, confirming his thoughts. "That hunter transmitted our location before I could jam its signal. We have maybe 10 minutes before reinforcements arrive." "10 minutes to do what?" "To wake up the others." Lisa pulled up a holographic map of Earth. 11 points glowed across the continents. The other refugees, they're sleeping, hiding, waiting. But if humans are ready to fight, if you're really ready to stand with us, then it's time to stop hiding. Danny stared at the map. "You want to start a war. The war already started. It started when the Dominion burned my world, when they hunted us across the stars, when they decided Earth was next on their conquest list." Lisa looked at him. "I've been monitoring their communications. They're coming, Danny, 6 months, maybe less. They've been testing your defenses, studying your technology, preparing for invasion." The words hit Danny like physical blows. Does anyone know? The government? The military? They know something's wrong. Strange signals, unexplained phenomena, ships that appear and disappear on radar. But they don't know what it means. They don't know how to interpret the data. Lisa adjusted their course. "That's where we come in. My people can teach yours to understand alien technology, alien communications. We can level the playing field." An alarm shrieked. The display showed 3 new contacts approaching fast. Kravik ships, sleek and deadly, cutting through the atmosphere like knives. "Here we go," Lisa said. She dove. The ship plummeted toward the city, engines screaming. The Kravik vessels followed, their weapons lighting up the sky with deadly fire. Lisa wove between buildings, using the urban landscape as cover. Danny's hands gripped the controls, and suddenly he understood what she needed from him. "I've got targeting," he said, surprised by his own confidence. "Then, light them up." Danny focused on the pursuing ships. The targeting system responded to his thoughts, locking onto weak points in their armor. He fired. The ship's weapons spoke with thunder, and one of the Kravik vessels erupted in flames, tumbling from the sky to crash into the ocean beyond the city. "Good shot," Lisa said, "but we're outgunned. We need to reach the closest refugee before they do." She pulled up hard, climbing again. The remaining 2 Kravik ships split up, trying to flank them. Danny targeted the one on the left, but his shots went wide. These pilots were better, more experienced. "Where's the nearest refugee?" Danny asked. "Nevada. About 40 minutes away at maximum speed." Lisa gritted her teeth. "We won't make it with these 2 on our tail." An idea struck Danny. "What if we don't run?" "What?" "You said humans fight impossible odds. You studied our stories." Danny brought up the weapons display. "Every good story has a moment where the hero stops running and faces the enemy. So let's stop running." And Lisa stared at him. Then she laughed, the sound bright and unexpected. "You're either brilliant or insane. Probably both." Danny checked their weapon status. "We've got 3 missiles left and enough energy for maybe 30 seconds of sustained fire." "How's their armor?" "Strong, but their engines are exposed during atmospheric flight. They sacrifice protection for speed." Lisa was already calculating angles. "If we can hit both simultaneously, we might disable them long enough to escape." "Not disable," Danny said. "Destroy. We do this right, or we don't do it at all." Lisa's smile turned predatory. "Now you're thinking like one of us." "On my mark, we spin and burn. You take left, I'll take right." The Kravik ships closed in, sensing weakness. They didn't know their prey had teeth. 3, Lisa counted. Danny's hands steadied on the controls. 2. The ship's systems hummed with ready power. 1. They spun. The world became a blur of lights and darkness. Danny fired everything, pouring energy and missiles into the left Kravik ship's engines. Beside him, Lisa did the same to the right. Both enemy vessels exploded in brilliant fireballs that lit the night sky like twin suns. "Yes!" Danny shouted. But Lisa wasn't celebrating. Her face had gone pale as she stared at the long-range sensors. "What's wrong?" Danny asked. "The hunter I threw from the truck. It wasn't alone." Lisa pulled up a new display. "There's a Kravik assault ship landing at the warehouse. A big one. And it's deploying troops." "How many?" 50. Maybe more." Lisa set a new course. "And they're heading for the residential district, for the people who live near my apartment. They're going to use civilians as bait to draw us back." Danny felt ice in his veins. "We can't let that happen. We also can't fight 50 Kravik soldiers with a damaged scout ship." Lisa looked at him. "This is where it gets hard, Danny. This is where we have to make impossible choices." Danny thought of the families in those apartments, the kids playing in the hallways, the old couple on the 5th floor who always smiled at him during deliveries. He thought of all the books Lisa had ordered, all those stories of humans who refused to abandon people in need. "No," he said firmly. "No impossible choices. We go back. We fight, and we figure out how to win." Lisa studied his face for a long moment. Then she nodded. "All right, but we're going to need help." She opened a communication channel. It's time to make a call that's going to change everything. Who are you calling? Lisa's finger hovered over the transmit button. Everyone. The signal went out on every frequency, every bandwidth, every possible channel. Lisa's voice filled the airwaves, speaking in perfect English, but carrying that strange harmonic quality that made Danny's teeth ache. This is Lisa Camden, refugee of the Terran people, calling all humans who can hear this message. The Kravic Dominion is on Earth. They are attacking civilians in downtown Seattle. If you have ever wondered whether we are alone in the universe, wonder no more. If you have ever asked yourself what you would do when the moment came to stand up and fight, that moment is now. I am transmitting coordinates. Come armed. Come ready. Come prove that humanity deserves its place among the stars. The transmission ended. Silence filled the cockpit. Did that really just happen? Danny asked. We're about to find out. Lisa brought up multiple displays showing news feeds, social media, emergency channels. Within seconds, the response began. Videos of the Kravic assault ship, photos of armored soldiers in the streets, panicked calls to emergency services, and then, slowly, something else. People arming themselves, police units mobilizing, military helicopters spinning up. Humans are good at many things, Danny. But what you're best at is coming together when someone threatens your home. They raced back toward the city. The Kravic assault ship sat in the warehouse district like a giant metallic insect, its landing legs crushing buildings beneath it. Armored soldiers spread through the streets in precise formations, rounding up civilians and forcing them into a central gathering point. They're making a kill zone, Lisa said grimly. When we arrive, they'll use the civilians as shields. Danny scanned the tactical display. What if we don't arrive where they expect? He highlighted a building 3 blocks from the Kravic position. An old apartment complex with a flat roof. We land here, go in on foot, and hit them from an angle they're not watching. That's actually smart. Lisa adjusted their approach vector. But we'll still be outnumbered 25-1. 24-1, Danny corrected. I count for something. Fair point. Lisa brought the ship down fast, killing the engines at the last second to reduce noise. They touched down on the rooftop with barely a whisper. Let's move. They exited the ship, and Lisa pressed her hand against its hull. The vessel shimmered and vanished, some kind of cloaking technology rendering it invisible. Handy, Danny said. Necessary. Lisa pulled a weapon from her belt, a sleek device that looked more like a tool than a gun. She handed a second one to Danny. Point at what you want to hit. Think about firing. It fires. Don't think too hard about it or you'll psych yourself out. Danny held the weapon. It felt warm, alive somehow, responding to his grip. They descended through the building's emergency stairs. Through broken windows, Danny could see the Kravic soldiers below, their armor gleaming under streetlights. The civilians huddled in terrified groups, parents clutching children, elderly people struggling to stand. How do we do this without getting everyone killed? Danny whispered. We create chaos. Lisa pointed to a power substation 2 streets over. You see that? If we overload it, we can black out 6 city blocks. The Kravic armor has night vision, but it takes a second to switch over. In that second, we move. And then what? Then we trust that humans are as crazy brave as your stories claim. They moved through shadows, reaching the substation through a series of back alleys. Lisa's device interfaced with the power grid, and Danny watched in fascination as she rerouted massive amounts of energy into a feedback loop. When this blows, run for the civilians, Lisa instructed. Get as many as possible into buildings and away from the open. I'll handle the soldiers alone. Lisa, there's too many. I won't be alone for long. She looked up at the sky. Listen. Danny heard it then. The distant thump of helicopter rotors, the wail of police sirens, the rumble of heavy vehicles. Humanity was responding. Now, Lisa said, and triggered the overload. The explosion was massive. Every light in 6 blocks died instantly. Darkness swallowed the street. Danny ran, his alien weapon held ready. He could see the Kravik soldiers' armor starting to adjust, their visors glowing as night vision activated. But for 3 precious seconds, they were blind. Danny reached the first group of civilians. "Move! Get into the buildings!" "Go, go, go!" they scattered, following his commands without question. Behind him, Lisa engaged the Kravik soldiers. Her weapons sang, each shot perfectly placed, striking joints in armor where protection was weakest. Soldiers fell, not dead but disabled, their suits locking up. Then the Kravik adapted. They spread out, using proper combat tactics. Energy weapons lit the darkness with deadly light. Lisa ducked behind a car as bolts punched through metal like paper. "We need backup now," Danny called out. As if in answer, the first helicopter crested the buildings, its spotlight blazing down on the Kravik assault ship. A loudspeaker crackled to life. "Unidentified hostiles, this is the United States military. Stand down immediately," the Kravik responded with weapons fire. The helicopter banked hard, barely avoiding the energy bolts. "That's a negative on standing down," the pilot's voice came over open channels. "All units, we are weapons free. Repeat, weapons free." The battle erupted. Military helicopters swept in from multiple directions. Police units established firing positions behind vehicles and barriers. Soldiers in tactical gear emerged from transport trucks, modern weapons aimed at alien invaders. The Kravik, disciplined and deadly, returned fire. Their weapons were superior, their armor nearly impenetrable, their training evident in every movement. They began to push back the human forces, advancing in coordinated strikes. But humans kept coming. For every unit that fell back, 2 more took its position. Civilians who'd escaped grabbed weapons from fallen soldiers and returned to fight. Construction workers arrived with heavy equipment, using bulldozers and cranes as improvised weapons. Danny watched in awe. This wasn't military precision. This was chaos, fury, and determination mixed into something the Kravik had never encountered before. Humans didn't fight like soldiers. They fought like survivors. "They're not retreating," Lisa said, joining Danny behind cover. Her suit was scorched, her face bleeding from a dozen small cuts. The Kravik never retreat. They'll fight until every soldier falls. Then we make them fall. Danny spotted a weakness in their formation. "Look, they're protecting that communication array on their ship. That's their command link. If we take it out, they lose coordination. It's too well defended. We'd never get close." "We don't need to get close." Danny brought up the tactical overlay in his mind, that strange alien gift letting him see possibilities. "We need to get high." He pointed to a construction crane looming over the battlefield, its arm extending directly above the Kravik ship. "You're insane," Lisa said. "You already established that." Danny grinned. "Come on, let's go climb." They ran through the chaos, energy bolts and bullets, turning the street into a war zone. The crane's ladder seemed to stretch into infinity. Danny climbed, his arms burning, his lungs screaming for air. Lisa followed, her enhanced strength making the ascent look effortless. Halfway up, a Kravik soldier spotted them. It raised its weapon. A police sniper fired first. The bullet couldn't penetrate the armor, but the impact threw off the soldier's aim. Its energy bolt went wide. "Thanks," Danny shouted to wherever the sniper was hiding. They reached the crane's control cabin. Danny had no idea how to operate it, but the alien weapon in his hand did. He pressed it against the controls and thought about what he needed. The weapon interfaced with the machinery, bypassing safety systems and human limitations. The crane's arm swung out over the Kravik ship. The massive hook dangled directly above the communication array. "We only get one shot," Lisa said. "If we miss, they'll destroy the crane before we can try again. Then we don't miss." Danny aimed his weapon at the crane's cable release. on 3 seconds' time. 2, 3, it fired. The cable released. 5 tons of steel hook plummeted toward the communication array. Time seemed to slow as it fell. A simple piece of human engineering turned into a missile. It struck perfectly. The array exploded in a shower of sparks and alien metal. Every Kravik soldier on the ground stumbled as their neural links severed. For 5 seconds, they were individuals instead of a coordinated unit. 5 seconds was all humanity needed. The counterattack was devastating. Without coordination, the Kravik fell back on individual training, but that made them predictable. Human forces pressed the advantage, focusing fire on single targets, overwhelming their shields through sheer volume. One by one, the Kravik soldiers fell, their armor locked up, their weapons depleted, their bodies exhausted from fighting an enemy that refused to quit. Danny and Lisa climbed down from the crane to find the battle ending. The streets were littered with debris, spent shell casings, and the metallic forms of disabled Kravik soldiers. Humans moved through the wreckage, securing prisoners, helping wounded, and staring at the evidence of alien life with expressions of wonder and fear. A military officer approached, his uniform marked with stars. "General rank, I need to speak with whoever's in charge here," he said, his weapon still pointed loosely at Lisa. "That would be me," Lisa said calmly. "My name is Lisa Camden. And we need to talk about what's coming next." The general lowered his weapon but didn't holster it. Behind him, soldiers maintained their positions, guns trained on the disabled Kravik soldiers, and Lisa herself. "You just declared first contact with an alien species on live television," the general said. "Every news network on Earth broadcast your message. The president is demanding answers. Half the world thinks this is a hoax, the other half is preparing for invasion. So yes, we need to talk. Now," Lisa gestured to the Kravik assault ship. "That's real. Those soldiers are real. And the invasion fleet heading toward Earth is very, very real. You have approximately 5 months before they arrive with enough firepower to turn your entire planet into ash." The general's jaw tightened. "How do we stop them? You can't." "Not alone." Lisa pulled out her device, projecting a holographic star map. The Kravik Dominion controls 47 star systems. They have a military force numbering in the billions. They've conquered species far more advanced than humans. She looked around at the gathered soldiers, the civilians emerging from hiding, Danny standing beside her. "But they've never faced a species quite like yours." "What makes us different?" Danny asked. "You refuse to accept defeat." Lisa expanded the projection, showing battle after battle, world after world falling to Kravik forces. Every species they've conquered followed a pattern: initial resistance, negotiation attempts, gradual surrender. The Terran were pacifists. We never even considered fighting back. Others tried diplomacy, bought time, hoped for mercy that never came. But humans? You just proved something remarkable. You didn't hesitate. You didn't negotiate. Someone threatened your people, and you grabbed whatever weapons you could find and fought back. The general studied the projection. We lost 60 soldiers in this engagement. Civilian casualties are still being counted. If that was a scouting force, what happens when the real invasion comes?
"You lose,"
Lisa said bluntly. "Unless you're willing to do something unprecedented, something that terrifies the Dominion more than any weapon." "What's that?" "Unite with us, with all the refugee species hiding across your galaxy. Share technology. Learn from each other, become something new." Lisa's projection shifted, showing the 11 points scattered across Earth. "There are 11 of us on your world. Refugees from 11 different species, each destroyed by the Dominion, each carrying knowledge that could help humanity survive. But we're just the beginning." She expanded the map further. Dozens of new points appeared across the galaxy. There are hundreds of refugee groups out there. Survivors hiding, running, waiting for a chance to strike back. If Earth becomes a rallying point, If humanity stands as an example that resistance is possible, we could build an alliance that the Dominion has never faced before. An alliance built on desperation, the general said. An alliance built on hope, Danny corrected. That's what Lisa was looking for in all those books. Proof that humans don't give up. Proof that we fight even when victory seems impossible. The general was quiet for a long moment. Around them, soldiers tended to wounded comrades. Medics worked on civilians. News helicopters circled, broadcasting everything to a world that would never be the same. I can't make this decision alone, the general finally said. This goes to the highest levels of government, international cooperation. The UN, quote, then make it fast, Lisa said, because in 5 months talking time is over. 3 months later, Danny stood in what used to be a warehouse and was now humanity's first xenotechnology integration facility. The space bustled with activity. Human scientists worked alongside Lisa and 3 other Terran refugees who'd come out of hiding. Engineers studied alien weapons systems. Linguists learned the harmonic communication methods. Soldiers practiced with energy weapons and adaptive armor. Lisa found Danny in front of a massive display showing Earth's orbital defense grid. The construction was ambitious, perhaps insane. Satellite weapons platforms, shield generators, early warning systems, all built using a combination of human ingenuity and alien technology. "How's it coming?" she asked. Ahead of schedule, believe it or not, Danny highlighted several construction zones. Turns out when you tell humanity we have 5 months to prepare for alien invasion, we get motivated. Factories are running 24/7. Scientists are collaborating across borders like never before. Even the politicians stopped arguing long enough to approve funding. And the other refugees? 6 more species have made contact. We've got representatives from the Kelvin arriving next week. They're bringing gravity manipulation technology. Danny pulled up another file. The Zenth want to share their biological augmentation research. The Horath have quantum communication systems that could link our entire defense network instantaneously. Lisa smiled. You're building something remarkable. In 3 months, you've created an infrastructure that took my people centuries. We had good teachers. Danny looked at her.
And good motivation. The Dominion made a mistake, Lisa.
They thought destroying your world would scare everyone into submission. Instead, it gave us all a common enemy. An alarm sounded. Both of them turned to the long-range sensors. A new contact had appeared at the edge of the solar system. "Is that them?" Danny asked, his heart rate spiking. Lisa studied the readings, then relaxed. "No. It's a refugee ship marking says Vonic origin. They must have picked up our broadcasts." She opened a communication channel. "This is Earth Integration Command. Unidentified vessel. Please identify yourself and state your intentions." The response came in heavily accented but understandable English. "This is the Venic refugee ship Wanderer. We heard that humans were building an alliance. We want to join the fight." Danny grinned. "Looks like word is spreading." Over the next 2 months, they came. Ships arrived weekly, then daily. Refugees from species Danny couldn't pronounce, carrying technologies humanity had never imagined. The warehouse district became a city unto itself. Construction crews worked around the clock building facilities for the newcomers. Cultural exchange programs helped different species learn to work together. Combat training integrated fighting styles from a dozen worlds. And through it all, humanity adapted with a speed that astonished everyone. Human engineers combined alien technologies in ways their original creators never considered. Human soldiers learned from alien warriors and taught their own tactics in return. Human diplomats negotiated treaties between species that had never met before. The books Lisa had ordered sat on a shelf in her quarters. Stories of impossible victories, of heroes facing overwhelming odds, of triumph through determination. She'd read them all multiple times, searching for the secret of human resilience. Now she understood. It wasn't magic. It wasn't special genetics or superior technology. It was simply a refusal to accept defeat. When humans were told something was impossible, their first response was to prove everyone wrong. The 5-month deadline approached. Earth's orbital defenses stood ready, a network of human and alien technology working in concert. Ships from 20 different refugee species waited in formation around the planet. Soldiers from a dozen worlds stood shoulder to shoulder, ready to fight. Danny joined Lisa on the command deck as the final hours counted down. The Dominion fleet had been detected, massive and terrifying, approaching with the confidence of an empire that had never known defeat. "Are we ready?" Danny asked. Lisa looked at the tactical displays. Humanity's forces were outnumbered 10-1. The Dominion had superior ships, better weapons, more experience. By every logical calculation, Earth should fall within hours of the invasion beginning. But logic had never been humanity's strong suit. "I don't know if we're ready," Lisa admitted. "But I know we're not backing down." Danny smiled. "That's very human of you. I've been learning from the best." Lisa opened the communication channels to every ship, every defense platform, every soldier waiting for the battle to begin. "All forces, this is Commander Camden. The Dominion is coming. They expect us to run, to hide, to surrender, like every other species they've conquered. So let's show them what happens when you threaten a species that doesn't know how to quit. Let's show them why humanity, why all of us, deserve our place among the stars. Today, we don't just fight for Earth. We fight for every world the Dominion destroyed. We fight for every species they scattered. We fight so that no one else has to run and hide. Today, we stand together." The Dominion fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel, their ships filling the void of space with cold metal menace. Their commander broadcast a simple message, translated into every known language. "Surrender now and you will be enslaved. Resist and you will be destroyed." Lisa looked at Danny, who looked at the tactical display showing their impossible odds. Then he opened a return channel. "Here's our counteroffer. Turn around now and we'll let you leave with your lives. Stay and we'll teach you why you should never underestimate a species that fights for their home." The response was predictable. The Dominion fleet opened fire, and humanity, alongside their new allies, fired back. The battle for Earth had begun. The outcome was uncertain. The odds were terrible. But as energy weapons lit the darkness and ships clashed in the void, one thing became absolutely clear. The age of humanity running and hiding was over. Whatever came next, they would face it together, standing tall, refusing to back down. Because that's what humans did best.